Ms Lauder.
Thank you, Madam Assistant Speaker. I am very pleased to speak about libraries today and the importance of libraries in the ACT. And without wishing to preempt any of the discussion, I imagine it's going to be one of those times where we're all going to be in furious agreement about the importance of this particular topic and their place in our community. We have 9 branch public libraries and the ACT Heritage Libraries. There are a number of school libraries, and of course we have the parliamentary libraries located here in the ACT. Our branch libraries include Belconnen, Civic, Dixon, Arundel, Gungahlin, Kingston, Kippax, Tuggeranong and Woden, and they vary in size, large ones such as Gungahlin, medium ones such as Belconnen and small ones like Kingston. And as far back as 1913 we started library services in the ACT, originally as part of the National Library of Australia, and then from 1935 a lending service from a building erected on Kings Avenue. Our total physical book collection is just under 64,000 books. Again, in a large library like Gungahlin, it's about 60,700 books. A medium library like Belconnen may have more or less, and a small library will have much more, perhaps 10 to 15,000 books. In 2016-17, there were 1,815,110 physical loans undertaken. Also 380,653 electronic loans. The total number of ebooks the library holds is 13,273. They also have nearly 7,000 audiobooks, e-audiobooks. And these ebooks and audiobooks allow for accessibility because they're searchable and downloadable on the library webpage and the mobile app. They allow accessibility for people who may not be able to physically attend a library or choose not to physically attend a library. But it does predicate that they use some form of technology in order to access that. Libraries also provide computer equipment for the public to use. There are 89 computers, 15 at Gungahlin, 14 at Belconnen and 5 at Kingston. And ACT libraries subscribe to 37 databases. But libraries, of course, are much more than books. They provide services to a wide range of different demographics within our population. For example, something that not everyone may have thought of is the services they provide to people who may be experiencing homelessness. It can be a comfortable space to be during the day where it's warm, dry. They don't have to purchase anything in order to stay there. They have access to the library collection to give them things to do during the day. They can also potentially access information about homelessness support services. Over winter, there was a Take One, Leave One coat rack project run by ANU students where people could leave free coats. They provide learning and interest programs on a range of topics, and increasingly, as awareness of this, the potential to provide connections and support to people experiencing homelessness there's more knowledge about them, libraries are participating and partnering with service providers to help raise awareness of the services and welcome people experiencing homelessness to the library. For many people experiencing homelessness, that personal connection with someone at a library can be far more valuable than you may imagine. It may be one of their few personal interactions with another human being during the course of that day. I'm sure you're all aware of the many instances where you see a person experiencing homelessness, perhaps on the street, and the reaction of many, many people is to look away, not make eye contact, not engage in conversation. So it can be a very isolating experience for a person who's already suffering from a range of complex issues. Another area is the services for parents and babies, and of course that's mothers, fathers, grandparents, carers and children generally. The branches have collections including board and picture books, parenting information and resourcing. They have community and parenting information displays and pamphlets, and they are a welcoming, comfortable and safe space with helpful staff. Parent groups can book a visit to the library, including a Giggle and Wiggle session. The Giggle and Wiggle, of course, is an early literacy program for children aged up to 2 years old and their carers. It's weekly at 7 of our library branches, with a total of 10 sessions per week. And the average attendance at each session is 104 people. So the total attendance in 2017 was 38,343, which is an excellent result. The libraries also offer community engagement, such as family literacy, multicultural and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander coordinators. They often collaborate with community partners, government and non-government, supporting parents and carers of young children, and focusing on parents and families with particular needs. It may be disability, mental health, culturally and linguistically diverse, people at risk and young parents. The partners of the library programs include the Child and Family Centres, Child Development Service, Kippax Uniting Care, Belconnen Community Service, Playgroups ACT, Navitas, Guggengowan and Wananga. And of course, as I earlier mentioned, school libraries are a vital and evolving part of learning. And I know my colleague Ms Lee is going to make some comments about school libraries specifically. However, I would like to acknowledge the contribution of teacher librarians. And of course, in this place, we're very well served by the Assembly Library, and I'd like to make special mention of Jan Bordoni and the rest of the team in our own Assembly Library that provide us, the members, with a great range of support, including much of the information in my speech today, information and research relating to motions and bills that we undertake in this place. They are a great resource. Their work is very much appreciated. Of course, in the Civic Library, for example, there's also Access Canberra services, a small range of Access Canberra services available. Though I think I've written very recently to the Minister about this. I've had some comments that there's not enough signage about the Access Canberra services at the library. So people use their Google Maps, they arrive in Civic Square, and then they're not actually quite sure where to go. And a number of those people actually end up asking at the front entry of the Assembly where the Access Canberra services are. So there are some there at the library. It'd be good if we made the signage a little more visible, or perhaps had better instructions on Google Maps. I'm not quite sure how you go about that. And finally, I'd like to mention, another thing that perhaps not everyone would think about, but the libraries often hold sales of books. And this weekend, the 24th and 25th of March, is a book sale at the Tuggeranong Library. So I'd encourage people to get down there and see if there's some books. I know that I love books. I love physical books. And whilst I also subscribe to ebooks and Overdrive from the ACT Library Service, for me, nothing will replace physical books. And, I have reams, walls of bookcases in my house. Libraries traditionally have had a unique and vital place in research, education and enlightenment of the modern world. They're steeped in history and tradition. And another thing I love is, those photos you see on the web about fabulous libraries all around the world. There are some absolutely stunning and outstanding libraries. And the challenge for us, including here in the ACT, is to be able to evolve to address changes in the modern digital world. We've seen some of those changes recently here in the ACT Assembly, where we're moving to a more paperless approach. We have Assembly-provided iPads now, and more that will become the case. So, in many cases, our libraries are successfully embracing and adapting to change, but they will need to continue that imaginative thinking. I've also, recently written to the Minister about whether there be the possibility of a new library to service the Molonglo area in Woden Western. And I think I've put a question on notice last sitting, so I'm looking forward to the answer from the Minister on that. I'm sure many people here utilise our libraries in one way or another, but either the parliamentary libraries or more widely in our community, and I certainly encourage you to continue to do so.
Ms Lakuta.